A big matchup for the Patriots this upcoming Sunday against a team that I like to just say, well, I have no idea if they're good or they are bad. 6-2 going on, trying to make a 6-game winning streak. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. The vibes are immaculate going into this game. You beat one of the best defenses in the NFL. And now you're going up against a pretty solid defense, but it's just like last week. This defense is really good, and this offense is just kind of mid. But when talking about the Falcons, what the hell are they? No one has any clue, any idea if the Falcons are good or if they are bad. And what do I mean by that? Why do I mean we have no idea if they're good or bad? Well, we'll get into that in a second because sometimes they win against big teams, and sometimes they get blown out by the really, really bad ones. Before we get into it, I got a goal for us. Let's get to 35,000 before the watch party on Sunday. And if we get to 35 before the watch party on Sunday, maybe I'll cut that super chat menu in half for us. We are 381 subs away from 35,000. It's a huge milestone on this channel. So if you want daily videos, if you want weekly live shows, make sure you sub from a Patriots fan himself. Let's talk about the Falcons this season and what they have been as a whole. Week 1 against the Buccaneers, a loss. Then you blow out the Vikings 22-6. You look really, really good in that game. You make J.J. McCarthy look like a pedestrian. But then you get blown out by the Panthers 30-0, and the very next week the Panthers get blown out by the Patriots. Then you beat the Commanders. Then you beat the Bills. You beat the Buffalo Bills 24-14. You beat them easy. And then you lose to the 49ers. And then you get the doors blown off of you by the Miami Dolphins, who are one of the biggest laughingstocks of the NFL. None of this makes any type of sense. And I know in that Dolphins game, it was Kirk Cousins. But it's the Dolphins. You just beat with your defense primarily because you held Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to 14 points. You beat the Bills, and then your defense allows 34 to Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I've watched them every single week, watching Michael Penix, watching Bijan Robinson, who was probably the best running back in football, in my opinion. But then sometimes they look good, and sometimes it's just like, what the hell is going on? Here's their defense, which I think carries them for most of the team. I mean, you see their yards per game. They're only allowing 275. They locked down Josh Allen. They made J.J. McCarthy look like terrible. Defense is specifically their specialty when you look at their team. They're really bad in rushing, though. And their points per game, only 22 points per game. Their third down percentage is 21st. But their passing yards, they hold an average of only 150. And Drake Maye's been averaging 250 yards per game the last 4 games. That's what the Patriots rely on. It's complete opposite. The Patriots rely on their passing game, and the run game is pretty terrible. Well, this is complete opposite with the Falcons. They make you run the ball. So their offense, though, that's where it gets really, really bad. And when it involves Michael Penix, which he's expected to come back this week, it still doesn't matter if it's Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins, whatever wide receivers you have. It does not make any sense right now. And it's supposed to be Moose, the advanced analytics, if we have that. Yeah. So Zach Robinson is the offensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, and these are the advanced stats for the Falcons. 28th in points per game. They are 15th in first downs. Fourth quarter points per game, they are dead last. They completely fall apart in the fourth quarter. Their touchdowns per game, they cannot score in the red zone. They cannot do an absolute thing. And their points per game, points per play, is one of the worst in the NFL. Moose, if you want to get on the mic and just chime in as the Falcons Today host and just say how bad you think Zach Robinson's offense is. I know you've talked about it. I've watched it, and it's not very good.
It's the worst offense I think I have seen this football season. They're dead last in play action rate.
Yep.
They've got one secret weapon. It's Bijan. And when teams take away Bijan, there's literally nothing else. The Falcons are also one of the most injury-riddled teams this year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Penix has a bone bruises in his knee. Drake London's got a hip issue. If you can take away Bijan, I mean this in the most sincere way possible, you will beat the Falcons. He's
That's
the
it.
only reason that this team has been viable throughout the first couple of weeks.
And it kind of reminds me specifically of, like, I see someone in our live chat now while we're recording this saying that it's kind of similar to Cleveland. Well, Cleveland's offense is terrible and their defense is great. Well, that's kind of the similar kind of thing with the Atlanta Falcons. The offense is awful and their defense is kind of solid, but they also have one piece, and that is Bijan Robinson. But last week it was Kirk Cousins. This week it's probably going to be Michael Penix Jr. And we got a tweet earlier from Adam Schefter. Well, that was one from Taryn Wack, but we got a tweet from Adam Schefter that it was Michael Penix is expected to return this season, or this week. We do not have it? Oh, that is the one? Well, the Falcons, yeah, you can see from Zach Robinson. We got to fix it. We got to fix it fast. Last 2 weeks were not reflective of what we built. That's how bad Zach Robinson's offense is. But Michael Penix is going to return this week. And he has done a lot better than Kirk Cousins. But there's also some things about Michael Penix that I like, and there's a lot of things that I don't like. I mean, I don't think lefty quarterbacks really succeed in the NFL. We've seen it over the past couple of years with Tua. He's kind of fallen apart. But Penix has been solid. I'm not going to say he's been good. I'm not going to say he's been bad. 85 QB rating, 3 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, 1,400 yards. It's kind of just like he's your middle-of-the-pack quarterback. I mean, second-year guy, just like Drake Maye. He didn't start all of 2024. He's coming back in 2025 in his second season. I think he's getting better, but he also is not mobile at all. He's not mobile like Drake Maye. He stands in the pocket because he has had multiple knee injuries. They're kind of cooked. But when it comes to talking about the Falcons and how they've played, you got to expect them to come out and play like it's going to be how they played against the Minnesota Vikings. Don't go into this game thinking, well, they played the Dolphins like this. That's how it should be. No, you have to expect them to the good Falcons come out. You have to lock down Bijan Robinson. And I'll talk about it on my keys to victory, on what specifically the Patriots are going to need to do to win this game. But you got to expect that the team that came out against the Vikings, the team that came out against the Commanders, the team that beat the Buffalo Bills is going to show up on Sunday against the New England Patriots. But the Patriots, I think Mike Vrabel and company have gotten this team locked up and not overlooking any single game, or they would have lost one of those trap games that we've played the last 3 weeks when it involves the Saints, the Titans, and of course, well, you could have lost to the Panthers too, but that's here nor there. Type it down who you got down in the comments. Give me an NY for New England, or if you're a lone Falcons fan. Well, if you're a Falcons fan watching this, go to Falcons Today because we have a Chat Sports channel for that. Coming up, I got the injury report from both teams and a little surprise to the injury report for the Patriots on Wednesday, but I think he might just be okay. But before that, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football season is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks embedded a flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if your picks won't hit. Prize Picks is the best ways to win cash this football season. I made a lineup, and it involved a game that happened on Tuesday. I had Karl Anthony Towns, the more on 12 rebounds. Well, guess what? He had exactly 12, so that cuts it out. It's down to these two in my lineup. Bijan, give me the less on his rushing yards. We know that Patriots defense is red hot. And Drake Maye, if you're going to give me less than 230, give me the more on that one. You can make a lineup just like that when you download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, well, you know going into this that you're not going to have Keon White, you're not going to have Kyle Duggar that have both been gone from a trade. But going into the Patriots injury report that comes out on Wednesday, there was a new addition to the report. And you can see Ramondre Stevenson was not there with a toe injury. I do like to say you could see limited. Christian Barmore, he hasn't been practicing at all on Wednesdays. Garrett Bradbury, limited with a toe injury. Stephon Diggs showed up with an ankle, but I expect him to play. And Kyrus Tonga said his knee is completely fine. You saw him leave the game on Sunday, but he said, I'm all right, just a little bit sore. But then you look at the Falcons injury report. Storm Norton is most likely back with a foot injury. Darnell Mooney, Jesse Bates, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Michael Penix, Jalen Walker, and Billy Bowman Jr. are all with a limited participation. We did see Drake London and Michael Penix miss last week's game, which was huge, and that kind of played into the factor of why they missed. And then your do not participate was Leonard Floyd, Casey Washington, and Zach Harrison. It's going to take a big game out of every single person, specifically on defense, because one of my main factors, my main keys, is that your defense is going to have to show up. Your defense is going to have to show up. Your offense, you kind of shows up every single game. But the main thing that I think that needs to happen, because, our producer Moose said it best, was stop Bijan Robinson. That's all you got to do. If you stop Bijan Robinson, you kind of win the game. Because on offense, well, he's their whole offense. You can see him if you watch the film. He is lined up out wide. He is lined up in the slot. He is lined up out behind in tailback. He's the best running back in football, in my opinion. People want to call Saquon Barkley the best running back in football. But no, I think Bijan Robinson is the most versatile back because you can, like the Falcons do, put him at wide receiver. You can put him at running back. You can use him all over the field, and the stats don't lie, man. 549 yards in just 7 games. He's on pace for 1,000 yards, 5.2 average, 4 touchdowns. He needs to get in the end zone more, but that is a Zach Robinson problem. Receptions, 33. Yeah, he's on pace for over 60 receptions. Probably going to get 1,000 yards in rushing and probably going to get 1,000 yards receiving. That's all you have to do. But this is a test for kind of both parties here. We know how good the Patriots defense is, and we know how good Bijan Robinson is. So that's one of the main factors, because I know Bijan sees just how good the Patriots defense is, and watching other running backs that go up against the Patriots defense when it involves Christian Barmore, Kyrus Tonga, and, of course, Milton Williams, the absolute dog. This is the rushing yards by every single running back the Patriots have faced this season. Ashton Jeanty has had 38. Devin Achane has had 30. Jalen Moore, 47. Chuba Hubbard, 49. James Cook, 49. Kamara had 30. Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears only combined for 40. And Quinshon Judkins, he did leave the game early, but he had 2.7 yards per carry before he left the game for only 19 yards. You can't run on this team. Good luck running up the middle. And when you go on the outside, Harold Landry and Caleb Chason are right there waiting for you, and so is Robert Spillane and whoever's playing that second linebacker spot, whether it's Jelani Tavai or Christian Ellis. They have not allowed a 50-yard rusher yet this season. Do I think Bijan could be that first? Yeah, but do I think he's going to go off for 75, 100? Absolutely not. So stop Bijan Robinson, and you can win the game. The second one, run the football. Run the football. You saw the stats from earlier, how bad the Falcons offense, or bad the Falcons defense is when running the ball, or other teams are running the ball. They're allowing over 120 yards per game rushing. Well, last week, the Patriots had a really, really good, and I can just read off the stats for you, Moose. It's okay. But we know that Travion Henderson finally had his breakout game. 75 yards, 7.5 yards per carry. He did fumble the ball going into the end zone, but I know that it's itching at him, and it's kind of pissing him off, but that's the one thing that matters. And the Falcons, they're really bad at run defense. Rush stuff rate of 17.6, which is 27th in the NFL. Well, the one thing about the Patriots is they're not getting any yards after contact because they're getting hit every single time before the line of scrimmage. That's one of the reasons why it's been so bad. Well, they suck. The Falcons suck at getting rush stops. So if you can get through those holes, downhill running, if Ramondre Stevenson is able to play and Travion Henderson goes, he can burst to speed and have big plays. And guess what? If you have big plays in the run game, that sets up play action. And they finally got play action going a little bit on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, and this is what happened. 6 for 7. 6-7. 88 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception in play action versus the Browns. It works. So if you can make that happen versus the Falcons, you're going to have a really, really good day on Sunday. Third one, we can speak for itself, honestly. Protect Drake Maye. Just every single week, that's a key factor. You do not want this man to get hurt. And Drake Maye, please slide. And in the first half of last week's game, he was not kept clean. Myles Garrett was eaten absolutely eaten. 4 sacks in the first half. It was 9-7 at halftime. At one point, it was 7-6. They couldn't move the ball down the field. They couldn't do anything. But in the second half, you gave Drake Maye time to throw the ball, and what happened? You ended up winning 32-13. It's going to take a big day out of Will Campbell because last week, I know we talked about how he kind of struggled a little bit, but when he went up against Myles Garrett, he struggled. When he went up against everybody else involving 20 snaps, he didn't allow pressure. He didn't allow a sack. He didn't allow a QB hit. Nothing happened. So I'm expecting a bounce-back game for Will Campbell. And my last key to victory, blitz the living hell out of Michael Penix. I said it earlier. He is stationary as hell. He is not quick. He is not fast. He is not mobile. If he rolls out, he's not scrambling. He's had multiple surgeries on his knees. And when he's kept clean, that's when he's really, really good. When he's not kept clean, that's when he's really, really bad. If you look at his clean pocket, it's like a 69% completion percentage. 1,100 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But when you put him under pressure, that completion percentage drops down to 41. The passing yards goes down to less than 300, 1 touchdown, and the QB rating goes to 63.6. And I know the Patriots can get pressure on that man. I know they can get pressure on the quarterback. I think Milton Williams could eat. I think Kayvon Chason could have a game. Harold Landry has had a lot of sacks this season. It's going to be a long day for this offense, and they're really going to have to try to figure something out with Bijan Robinson if they want to have any chance in this ballgame. But I think the Patriots are going to absolutely have a day, and they're going to go for their 6th straight win. Predict the score for me down in the comments section of Patriots versus Falcons. Let me know what it is, and if you're in our live chat right now, spam it down in the comments section. My score prediction? I mean, the Patriots keep scoring 30, so why not stop now? Give me a 31-17 victory for the New England Patriots. Give me 6 straight, and hopefully, the Kansas City Chiefs. We are Chiefs fans this week, people. I know it's shocking, but we're Chiefs fans this week because if they beat the Buffalo Bills, the Patriots are now a whole game ahead of the Bills in the AFC East. So it sucks, but you got to root for the Chiefs. But we will also be live, and we are going to be going crazy for this team right here. So go ahead, hit that sub button right now, and as always, let's go Pats.